This little poem is called The Ballad of Booger. The Ballad of Booger's the story I tell if there's ever a lull in the chatter. And while many insist that I'm all full of crap, in the end, guess it really don't matter. It's the legend I lived as an 8-year-old boy in my heartland American town when I single-fingeredly brought down a giant mythology that the neighborhood kids spread around. See, there was this big bully, an ogre of sorts, that lived between our home and the school, and over us poor elementary kids, cruel, mean Frankie Lucetti did rule. He'd take our lunch money, de-pants us, shoot our buttons right off of our shirts, make all of our homework just fly on the breeze. And nipple twists, those really hurt. He'd sail our gym shoes over phone lines. They probably still hang there today. Our travels to school were no fun as a rule, as he hunted us down just like prey. See, we hated Lucetti, we wished he was dead, as we bumbled to class with our lunch smeared on our head. Now, there were 2 others who lived near my house. We had to cross over at Frankie's street, and our common dilemma forced us together, made us quick as a team on our feet. There was snotty-nosed Bucky, brown-skinned and slow, big feet duck-flapped whenever he ran. And Frankie would hear them and swoop down on his bike to catch up to our poor wimpy clan. Then there was Lucy, young, skinny, and pale, silver braces and big buggy eyes. And Frankie tied up her golden long braids into knots till the whole street rang out with her cries. One time, though, I did notice Frankie's disgust as he used markers to draw us mustache. And Bucky's snot slick made his face wince and moved on to poor Bucky's tongue lash. See, my good friend Bucky had that snot drippy thing. What can I say? We were just in 3rd grade. But when Frankie got to Bucky, his nose was all yucky. So instead, Bucky just got him a beard. So we'd creep and we'd crawl across Pine Street, tiptoe hunkered down by people's hedges, in hopes that Frankie and his 2 hoodlum friends wouldn't catch us and give us more wedgies. It was one perfect sunny April afternoon that would bring me my awesome acclaim as we peered round a wall, see if he was there at all, that I would attain my great fame. See, Frankie was down the street, probably 2 blocks, toilet papering Lloyd Butts to a mummy, and appeared that Frankie was busy, you see? So I gave the signal, heck, I ain't no dummy. And so out from our 3-pointed stances, we bolted, do it now or this thing just won't happen. But just then Frankie turned and looked up the street, 'cause Bucky's feet started duck flapping. "Hey, you knuckleheads," he called out, "stop it right there!" And he flew after us on his bike, and the sound of baseball cards and bicycle spokes came quick as he charged for his strike. Well, the hoodlum boys skidded before us, and we wimpsters just froze in our tracks as Frankie pulled up to us grinning to begin with his verbal attacks. Well, little knuckleheads, you're trying to get past. But now, sees, I caught you, you ain't so dang fast. And you got me all winded chasing yous. But I got you now, not a thing you can do. He was right, we'd run too far, or so it seems, to a ball field with no homes around, and no intervening adult standing by to answer our whimpering sound. Frankie got off his bike and stomped hard on a toe, and poor Bucky winced silently. And then he noogied on Lucy, who stared at her feet, and then he looked over at me. "What are you looking at, Junior? You want to be next? I'll bet you the boss of this gang." And he stepped right up to me, prepared to chew through me, and then into action I sprang. See, I remembered the snot pool that grossed Frankie out, so I burrowed down into my source. And I found me a python of mucus supreme, and I whipped it out without remorse. And I held it out there on my finger, all greeny and sticky and gross, and I swung it around like a saber. and it went by his face really close. "Back off, Frankie," I yelled at him shrilly. "You know what I'm going to do? My finger is lowered, it's gooey and green, and I'm going to wipe it on you." "You sicko," he called out, backing on up, protecting himself best he could. "You gross sick old freako, you leave me alone." His cries rang through the whole neighborhood. And he tripped on his bike and he fell in the dirt, and my sweet sort of snot made him cry like he hurt. Well, my neighborhood whimsters could just not believe it, my emboogered finger's great power. As he whined and he ducked from my nose nuke, could have tortured him there for an hour. From the edges of panic, the hoodlums just stared as tears rushed down on poor Frankie's face. And he threatened to go get his mama. How's that for the final disgrace? But I let him crawl home then in horror, while my motley crew looked on in awe. The two hoodlums on their bikes retreated, because they couldn't believe what they saw. Me, I raised my finger up high, see, standing there with my legs spread out wide, and I let out a howl to the whole flippin' world of the power I felt down inside. And I stood on the ball field at Pine Street, finger bedecked with empowered snot. Alexander the Great and Napoleon. And if you think that's funny, it's not. Because I felt fury of desperation as the meek falls again to the strong, and I dug down, real deep down inside me, found a weapon to prove that rule wrong. And my victory cry rang out loud, see, and it stretched out for eons gone past. Multitudes suffering brutality. It's all they needed to kick them some ass. 'Cause it's all buried deep down inside you. Maybe places you don't want to go, but it takes a big finger to get there. But that's the only way that we'll grow. What comes out may not be pretty. It's like stepping up here to this mic. But it's power, and you ought to try it. Don't worry what people don't like. See, I've rushed the Normandy beaches. I've beaten the conquering Hun. I've sent savages crying to Mama. And I've had a handkerchief when I was done. My high school friends, they all knew the story. My legend has gone down the years, and they know that I have it inside me somewhere to make giants break down into tears. So don't mess with me, folks, I'm Booger. And you know what my shtick's all about. To empower us all to dig deeper. 'Cause you never know what might come out.